What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Hurdle Podcast. You got Logan, got Bailey. We're here to talk some MSU football.
Yeah.
We got another home game finally.
Mm-hmm.
Little road triple recap that didn't go our way.
No,
But a great game.
it was a great game. Messy game.
Messy game. We'll get into that. Recap of the game last week against SDSU.
Yep.
We'll preview the Stetson game for about 2 minutes.
If that.
Yeah. And then we'll kind of just go into some big topics in college football. Coach Prime in Colorado being the big one, and Texas maybe being back. So.
Yeah. And some little Heisman talk on top. Yeah.
Heisman?
Little sprinkle.
You mean the Pac-12?
Basically.
I mean, it's pretty much the Pac-12. But yeah, Bobcats played South Dakota State last week. Lose 20-16. Tough nail biter.
Yeah.
A game where the Cats were, I think, up 10 at the half.
10-0 at half, yep.
I think from the parts that I was able to watch, I think stupid penalties really cost us late. And just kind of, I think some sloppy defensive play, especially at the end. I mean, you're up 10-0, and then you still have 20 in the second half. It's kind of hard to win because that game was so run heavy that 20 points and a half is a lot for how much both teams were running the ball.
It shows how much momentum played a factor, I think, when it came to the second half of the game, when we kind of failed to capitalize on points at the end of the first half there, and then moving into the second half, SDSU gets the ball to start, instantly goes down and scores
pretty quickly,
very quickly. So, yeah, I think that's kind of where you felt the turn shift, and we didn't take full advantage of holding them to 0 in the first half. To be up 10-0, you're looking for that score to be 17-20 and kind of game to be close to over at that point if you're holding a team to 0.5. So I think that was a little unsettling, and the way SDSU came out and started the second half was a great plus for them.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tommy also got hurt in the game.
Yep.
So again, another Tommy injury against a Dakota team. I don't think it was
same injury.
Same shit, different year kind of deal. It just, I feel like he was playing fine. He was controlling the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because he was the quarterback for the first half, right?
Yeah.
So 10 points compared to 6 in the second half. I will say, I think the biggest bright spot for the Cats was we got to see Sean Chambers throw a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we just haven't seen because usually we're up a lot.
Yep.
And we aren't depending on the arm of our quarterbacks. So I think it was nice to see Sean throwing a little more. I think it gave me a little more confidence if we do get in a situation like that, especially that last drive, was throwing the ball pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, last drives, 2-minute stuff, it's wicked important. Just so important that, like how we said earlier, didn't capitalize at the end of the first half. You have to capitalize on those opportunities.
Gotta get points.
Yeah, those momentum swingers are so huge. Just the 3. I mean, in our next pile, we're going to be talking about NFL, and the Thursday night game's already over. How Jefferson fumbled through the back of the end zone, and then Philly goes down, kicks a 61-yarder, and that's a 9-point swing instantly in that game, right? So, the 2-minute stuff at the end of the fourth quarter, I thought Sean looked good. Not great. I mean, just with this offense, the passing schemes aren't incredibly complex. Those are the run fits that we're trying to find. All that stuff is very, very complex in how we run our run games. Through Johnson and Malott and Chambers. But when you look at all that, just from the passing outlook of those last 2 minutes, I liked it, didn't love it, just because SDSU's in half prevent kind of style defense, because in that situation it's 4-point ball game. So their one goal is to not give up a touchdown. So they're playing way back, way off, and
keep everything in front of you.
You did what you're supposed. They did what they're supposed to, but Montana State also did what they're supposed to. They took what they got, and they were getting chunks of 10, 15, 20.
Little 15-yard chunks here and there.
Yeah, those little out routes when there's no flats, when there's no flat zones in those areas, those little flats can turn from 5 to 15 very quickly, and you're getting out of bounds or stop clock on first downs. So spotted the ball in college, and momentum kind of picks up in that direction, which it did for Montana State.
Yeah, and it felt like it was good. The ball was getting moved.
Yep.
There wasn't a ton of running. I think Sean maybe ran one time and got a first down.
Yep.
But
Yes, he did.
I mean,
Which is fine.
Exactly.
Because stop clock.
Exactly. Right. First down stops the clock. I think they time managed well because they left no time.
Yeah.
So then we'll get into that. Technically, I'll call it the last play. Yeah. It was really the last
play. It's basically the last play, yeah.
Well, it was the 22-yard line. Left hash, I believe. Left hash. Maybe right. Maybe more in the middle. But left hash. We'll call it left hash. I like the play design. The line kind of blocked, so it allowed Sean to kind of roll out to the right.
And have the crosser.
And have the crosser right there. And as you're watching it, and as the announcers, whatever, I'll get into the announcers a little bit. Dude, I don't care if it's a South Dakota State game. The amount of D-writing that whole game.
You could say it.
The amount of dick writing from those announcers. Annoying as hell. We'll never watch another South Dakota State game again. Unless we're in it. It's fine. Fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
But their whole thing was, oh, well, it shouldn't even count because he crossed the line. If you watch it back, whole body has to be across.
His back heel's on the line.
Back heel's on the line.
Back heel's on the line.
So the throw counts.
A rule that did not know of. I had no idea that was a rule.
Just the back foot. You just gotta have a little bit. Any part. It's the whole catch part.
Yeah.
And when you watched it live, it looked like he caught it.
Good.
And I was like,
good. Yeah.
It was another Cats moment we could be a part of. Of our now going into our third year here. And then you watch the replay. Definitely didn't catch it.
No, it's not a catch.
As much as I want to say, oh yeah, I caught it. Oh, the steel frames, yeah, I caught it. He didn't catch it.
Yeah, not a catch.
So then you get last play, 1 second left. We got an unsportsmanlike conduct from one of our coaches.
Which is brutal.
Because you could run the same way.
You're still on the 22. Now you're moved back to the 37. You're basically with a 10-yard drop back, you're in Hail Mary territory at that point with college quarterbacks.
Exactly. And then Hail Mary kind of deal. Sure, the end zone anyway. Almost was caught. Could have made something happen, maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of maybes.
Yeah,
not a lot of finish.
Yeah, I think this game, when Montana State I'm sure that we're going to be. This film's going to haunt them for a little while now. Really till the playoffs, until they get to see him again, I think is where this thing's going to go if they do get that chance again. A lot of missed opportunities. So many that it's you can't even count on two hands. I mean, just huge false starts. I think was just killer false starts. One in particular, after the block punt, got it to the 1 yard line, 3rd and goal, QB sneak, Sean pushes it in, false start. Literally worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario, you don't get it, and it's 4th and goal, and you do it again.
Yeah.
You get half the yards.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden you're 3rd and 6, you run draw, it's 4th and 3. Now you're kind of forced to take the 3 in that situation. 4th and 3 is kind of a tough scenario to be in at the 4 yard line because it's somewhat past territory, but it's so condensed because you only got 14 yards to work with there. So you're kind of forced to take your 3, but you get a block punt on the 1. You should be, especially with how powerful our run game is. And Sean, everyone in the stadium knows what play is coming.
Every damn week.
QB power.
It's running the damn ball.
QB power. Every time we touch the red zone, if it's in the 20s and Sean is in, it is a QB power. Every single time. And I think that's a little bit worrying, to be honest. Even though it works most of the time, having some variety in the end zone is a huge benefactor. Like, we don't really have a play action flat or
we haven't seen it this year.
Any variability. No, we've played 2 games. It's been Sean through the end zone basically every play. So it's 95% of our red zone playbook is a QB power. So I think the predictability when it comes to having the ball 1st and goal at the 1, everyone knows what's going to happen. I think that's a problem, especially when you don't particularly have the size advantage up front, and you're not really getting that push, even though Sean is 6'6", 240. So that there was the huge momentum changer. I mean, of course, South Dakota State getting 13 points early in the second half was huge. I'm touchdown 3-and-out, and they go in and score quick again. And
And then their last touchdown,
but the defense held. I thought that was the most impressive part
they looked good.
about it. The defense was legit. And in crucial third down situations, they got the stops that we needed. We're talking 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7s. Those are ones you
Creating
have to have.
turnovers.
Creating turnovers, the block punt. Those are things you have to win a sloppy game like this. And we had them, just could never capitalize on those opportunities, which was, it's heartbreaking. But nothing about this game said to me, South Dakota State is the team they were last year.
Exactly. It didn't give me they're untouchable.
Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't
like they were
40 to 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year, I mean, they had crap. They were converting every third down, every 3rd and short, every 3rd and long, it really felt like. And yanking that tight end away from that offense, you could tell hurts because they don't have an extra blocker up front. And
Yep.
even though they still got the Janky brothers, they don't have that clutch time receiver that they're going to on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 when they get the mismatches with the linebackers or the safeties.
Exactly. And they're still kind of like us. Like,
Mhm.
they look to run.
Mhm.
They look to
Yep.
run the ball. They're
Yes,
not
they
a
do.
passing team. And it felt like at times, like they got into situations where it was like, well, shit, we have to pass.
Mhm.
And they weren't converting. Or
Mhm.
QB's rolling out,
Mhm.
hits the ball off his knee, first fumble of the game.
Yeah.
First, second drive of the game.
Which wasn't a fumble.
Okay, that one, I won't be biased.
That was not a fumble.
It was a fumble. I think we recovered it in play.
Oh, did you? Do you really?
I watched it.
Interesting.
He had his left foot
Yeah.
on the field.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I'll say.
I'll let you have it. But yeah, I think the balance is killer though. When you can have, Sean attempted 9 passes. I believe it's Gronowski attempted 20. Just that difference makes the run game a little bit so much more proficient.
Yeah.
I feel like if we had a little bit more of that, if not the numbers say be 20 or 25, if it's 14, and we're taking a couple more shots on 2nd and 5. Because if with this Montana State offense, you're getting 4 to 5 yards to carry. Those shots on 2nd and 5, or even if they're just like intermediate to the flats, conservative passing plays, they still
get the ball out.
They still keep the defense on the toes,
Yeah.
which is essential. So, but that's just not the way we run our offense. But the defense was terrific.
Defense was
Absolutely
really good.
terrific. They fought when we needed them to. The 13 points to spot them at the beginning of the second half was tough, but to switch that momentum, I think, and show that our defense is there to legitly compete, I thought was something that was the biggest plus takeaway from this game. I think if you clean up the penalties, Montana State wins this game by 10. And that's taking bias completely out of it. Way too many false starts, two big pass interference calls, and you take half those false starts away and those PI calls away, and you play a cleaner game of football, you win this game by double digits.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I think maybe the only other concerning thing is at the end how South Dakota State scored.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 plays.
2 plays.
Like, I'm happy they scored quick because then we got a chance to get the ball again.
Mm-hmm.
But with how the defense was playing, I said, all you gotta do is stop them.
Yeah.
And we win.
Yeah.
Like, a stop and we win. And they scored in 2 plays. And it's just like, that's a blow. Like,
especially how your defense has been playing all
exactly.
game.
And been playing fairly well outside of the first 2 drives of the second half.
Yep.
Great all the way around. Giving up a 2-play touchdown. Then it's just like the offense has to go back out.
Yeah.
And it's like we knew what we were going to get.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's a tough one.
Especially with the kind of offense we run, it's not a 2-minute offense.
Exactly.
It's a grit and grind offense.
It's a 6-7 minute drive
Yep.
every time.
Yeah.
So with all that said, we're not worried.
I would agree. No.
I feel just as good, maybe a little better, just because I know that South Dakota State isn't the powerhouse they were last year.
And the mistakes that were on our end instead of theirs.
To be easily cleaned up.
Yeah.
So there's our little rant about South Dakota State.
Great game though.
Yeah, it was a really fun game to watch.
It
Even
was.
the outcome wasn't the way we
momentum
wanted.
swing in the last 2 minutes was nuts.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
It was nuts.
there were so many emotions of, oh my God, we just gave up a 2-play touchdown, to, oh my God, we just won off a 22-yard touchdown pass.
Mm.
We're Montana State.
Yeah.
We don't. So that's the recap from last week. We play Stetson
This week. They're 2-0.
They have a better record than us. However,
We
if
do
they
not
played
care.
Bailey, if they played, we do not care.
We do not care.
We do not care.
They have played St. Thomas University of Florida, which they won by 1 in overtime.
Never heard of her.
And they played Weber College.
Not Weber.
Not Weber State. They played Weber College.
Weber.
I honestly have no idea where that is. And they won by 10 in that game. So they are 2-0.
Never heard of her.
Me neither.
What I've learned, they kind of run a 2-quarterback scheme.
Mhm.
They run their offense kind of like us. It looks like.
Mhm.
However, they've played nobody.
Yeah. I think that's telling.
I think it's a matter of how much and not how long do our quarterbacks play?
Yeah.
Do you even play, Tommy?
I would not.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I would not either.
So how many quarters will we see of Sean Chambers?
2.5.
I think 2.5.
First 2 drives of the third quarter.
So that means the Cats will win by
35.
Nice. I say it's a half.
A half.
We see us throw the ball a little more.
Yeah.
Don't beat ourselves up going into the Weber game. We throw the ball a little more.
This is a cleanup game.
Yeah.
This is a get ready for Weber week. That's what this week is.
It feels like
you got to come out and beat them still. Yes, you got to come out and beat them still. But this is a week where Monday, Tuesday, Sunday you rest. Monday, Tuesday you get ready for Stetson. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's all Weber prep.
Yep.
Everything. That is a much bigger game than this game. And granted, you can't take every win for granted here. Even with a team like Stetson, but when you're significantly more advanced on both sides of the ball, when you're that much better on both sides of the ball, you're looking ahead to next week. You're trying to get 4 or 5 more days of prep in, because Weber State plays Utah this week. The University of Utah.
12th ranked Utah.
The 12th team in the nation.
Yes, I've heard.
So I honestly don't know how hard they're gonna be game planning for that game, because they're gonna get smoked out of the building.
I mean, last time it was like 77-6. So
I think if they're smarter, you hardly use any game prep on Utah either, and you kind of just go out there and go for it. I think it's the smart way to do it, because even if they game plan as hard as they possibly could, they could get it to 30. They could cover the spread maybe, but with how that's going to play out, they're probably also looking to try and get 2 or 3 more days of extra film in there.
Yeah,
if they're playing it smart.
Exactly. So like, if you look at it that way, you almost have to if you're the Cats, and hopefully that's what they have been doing. So Cats by at least 35.
Okay. You're saying over 35?
I think it could be 40.
Okay.
It might be Gold Rush all over again.
Yeah.
Because I think the defense will play better than they did at Gold Rush.
I agree.
But how much of the offense? Who knows?
Yeah.
I would love to see us air it out. I'd love to see Sean Chambers have 250 passes.
I like to see different looks, different formations, something besides a tight end in motion, sweeping across the front line. Honestly, a little more 3 receiver looks, more pistol, and if you're gonna run the QB draw out of the pistol or the read option out of the pistol, I think we give into spreading out. It's giving Sean more room to work and getting one-on-ones with smaller linebackers.
Who's gonna run over everything?
Exactly. I think that could be a severe advantage and a different look to our offense. That stuff that Louisville ran with Lamar, where they're going 4 receiver sets. Granted, they're a much more advanced program, got more speed on their team, but they were running those pistol read options with Lamar, and he's getting one-on-ones with linebackers, and Lamar in open field is dangerous. Sean, not saying he's as good as Lamar at all. Lamar was the Heisman Trophy winner.
But one-on-one with a linebacker.
One-on-one with a linebacker in this case. I don't even know if Stetson's D1.
There's something.
In this case, just the power advantage here is something I think you want to look to take advantage of.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think the more and more you kind of show this week maybe of like different looks, I think the more and more Weber has to prep
for those different looks also.
So you could even come out in that and do something completely different with the Weber game.
Yep.
So there's our Cats.
Yeah.
A lot to look on, a lot to look forward to.
I think a ton to look forward to. I mean, I think another big game to watch potentially this week if you're a Big Sky guy is
Big Sky football.
Sac State Stanford. Sac State's coach leaving this year. They're 2-0 already. They're playing Pac-12 Stanford and Stanford this week, and their coach left for Stanford. So Stanford got
$4 tickets.
smacked around by USC, 46 points, which is expected. It's
Yeah.
USC, it's Lincoln Riley, it's that offense, but and the top Heisman candidate. So that's to be expected. But I'm interested to see if Sac State. I think if they compete in that game, we're looking at a tougher Sac State team than they had last year, even though they had, I believe, a linebacker go in the 4th round to New England in the draft. So I'm still, I think we are better than Sac State. I've been wanting to play Sac State for years now, and we're going to get that this year in Sacramento. But I think seeing how they play against top competition, outside the FCS playoffs, we haven't seen Sac State play anyone really legit at all. So they've had one loss in the past 2 years in the regular season. So looking for them to play tougher, higher level competition.
A Pac-12 team.
The Pac-12, a legit Pac-12 team.
Future ACC team.
Future ACC team. Could be something that's maybe to keep your eye on, especially in the first quarter. I think if it gets out of hand, turn it off. But the first quarter, I think, could be telltale signs.
I think we'll be watching the first quarter.
Yeah.
After the Cats game. I think we'll probably have it on.
Yeah. So we have our eye on you, Sac State.
We're watching you. You, what are they again? Like grasshoppers? Jackets?
They're the Cyclones, aren't they?
What?
Yeah. Or something like, or the Hornets.
Hornets!
Yeah,
Hornets.
Yeah, the Hornets.
Well, we're watching you, Hornets. Anyway, enough Cats talk, enough Big Sky talk. Let's get into some bigger college football stories.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start Heisman, or do we want to?
Let's do Heisman last.
Okay, we'll end it with Heisman. So Colorado.
Yeah. Preach. Go ahead, Logan. Preach.
Look, I love Dion. I love Coach Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I will never admit I was a believer because I'm a Utah fan, and Colorado's my whole life bad, very bad.
Yeah, they haven't been good since the 90s. Since Vienna.
One win Colorado last year was some of the worst football I've ever watched. However, I have never seen so much confidence, swagger, don't give a shit from a team, and they keep putting up 40 points on everyone.
Yeah, 40 to 50 points.
And now 2 guys for Colorado are in contention for a Heisman, which is something I never
out
thought
of the blue.
Like,
no, not this year. Maybe we were saying maybe next year once Shadur's is sophomore this year, I believe, could go into the draft.
They would have gotten one more year.
We're already hitting the point where Kuiper's saying he could be a top 5 pick.
And Travis Hunter's number 1.
Yeah, and Travis Hunter could go 1 or 2 with Caleb. Yeah, I'd never thought I'd be muttering any. You'd think there'd be a transition year there, and Colorado's just out the gates running. Yeah, there's blowing.
We said 6-6.
Yeah.
Me and you talked.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not going to sit up here and go, man, they put some really good teams. Nebraska,
not great, and
Nebraska is not good. TCU, we didn't know what we were getting out of TCU. It was a shootout. And we're not going to learn anything this week.
No.
Because all the ammo and momentum and everything.
It's like a 30-point spread.
If they don't win by 40, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
in Boulder,
all the hype. They got game day. They've got Pat Show. They've got First Take. They got The Rock.
They got the most electric players in college football right now.
And the best recruiter of all time?
Potentially. His luggage is Louis.
And he ain't hard to find.
No.
Let me tell you. I think for me, the real test will be once they start Pac-12 play.
Yeah.
They open up with, I think, USC.
Yeah.
And then
Oregon. That's gonna be the big game. Is the USC game.
I think it will be because both teams
could be 56 to 49.
I was gonna say both teams don't have exceptional defenses.
Colorado's got Hunter.
And their D line's okay, but like outside of that, I'd say their corner room's probably the strongest with Hunter and Sanders on the other side. But
Shiloh, right?
Yeah, Shiloh. Yeah,
Not Shador.
not Shador. Yes, Shiloh. I don't know. I don't know what to think of him. Everyone's buying in on the hype, and I love the hype. I love it.
I think it's great for college football.
I think it gets more teams on the map and more players on the map than maybe ever.
Yeah.
And this is the worst thing for the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado being successful, worst thing for the Pac-12, because they were the like of after USC and UCLA, they were the next domino.
Yeah.
They were like, we're going to the Big 12, and then Oregon jumps, and Washington jumps, and then Utah and the Arizona schools jump, and then you get Cal and Stanford, and who's the other one I'm forgetting? There's only the two left. Washington State and Oregon State. Who's the other one that jumped? Cal, Stanford. Oh, and I think like SMU is going to the ACC.
Something like that, yeah.
Pac-12's got nobody.
Yeah.
After like this year.
Yeah.
Worst thing for the Pac-12 is to have Colorado be good right now.
Mm-hmm. Your worst team would be one of the top 20 teams in the.
And
worst team last year being one of the top 20 teams this year.
Like the fact that has the Pac-12 lost a game?
I don't think so.
Through 2 weeks.
And Washington State's now ranked. They just beat ranked Wisconsin last week at home. Shout out Luke. Heard you on the radio.
That was hype as hell.
Yeah, that was dope. So they're coming off a huge win. You got USC with the Heisman favorite, of course. Freaking UCLA, Chip Kelly's offense still there. And there's a lot of freaking Oregon and Bo Nix. Like
Oregon State.
Washington, Penix is also a top 3 Heisman candidate with the offense they run. They're throwing the ball 45 times a night, especially with Odunze there still, who's disgusting. And will probably be a top.
Von Ross flashbacks, kind of. His speed is.
Yeah, dirty.
And then don't forget the back-to-back Pac-12 champions.
Yeah, Utah. And
Utah's at 12, and Cam Rising hasn't played a game yet this year.
Yeah, and look at what they're going under the radar. They're a top 12 team. So, Pac-12 is stacked to the rafters, which is kind of what we were saying about the Big Ten 2 years ago, where it was Michigan, Ohio State,
Penn
State. And it's like at some point when all these 3 teams play each other, the dominoes are going to start to fall. And they're going to knock each other out of the race at some point. And I think that's what's going to kind of happen here. We're going to get the Colorado USC game early. And then after that, once the playoffs kind of settle and we get into championship week, that matchup is going to probably have CFP implications on that game.
Well, yeah, and that's what's crazy because like you were mentioning, like they were beating up each other 2 years ago. And didn't Ohio State and Michigan make it?
Both make it. Yep, they both made it.
And the Pac-12 hasn't had anyone since Oregon the first year this was a thing.
Yeah, Mariota.
Yeah, so it's like, again.
They had Washington 1 year.
Yeah, randomly.
Yeah, 1 year. The Jake Browning, John Ross year.
Yeah. You're pulled.
Thank you.
Again, worst thing that could happen for the Pac-12 right now because they're all leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if there's any year to do it, it's the last year.
Last hurrah.
One last hurrah. Can a Pac-12 team win it?
Yeah.
That'll be seen.
I'm not big on it.
I'm not
personally. Either. Just like the 2 top teams, like the past couple years being USC, Utah. USC still doesn't have a defense, and it's worrying, especially in the big games. I mean, they're giving up 45 to 50 points in these big games, and it's just like, I know you got Caleb Williams last year. I know you had Jordan Addison. I know you can put up points with the best of them. 45 is tough. So, or Tulane.
The Green Wave.
So like just those sheer numbers are tough, and Utah always has like one loss earlier that kind of cost them shots.
It's
later in the
that's
year.
Why I thought the
even
Baylor
though they beat USC both times, they have 1 or 2 losses earlier in the year that always counteract the USC wins, and it's like, oh, they're ranked 6 at the end of the year.
Yeah, and you're playing in the Rose Bowl back.
And you gotta be top 4. Yeah, you gotta be top 4. So,
but Colorado.
Yeah, huge. It's huge. I love it. It's so much fun.
It's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch
because everyone hates it. Like everyone that's a diehard college football fan. Like I would say, we're into college. I love college football.
You're definitely more than me.
But the diehards hate this.
Mm-hmm.
Every traditional college football fan hates this.
Yeah,
Our young wave, us millennials, we love this. I love Shador Sanders going up to a dude and flexing the watch. I love it. Because he doesn't even have to talk. He can just go. This NIL money's nice.
Yeah, it
You
is
got
nice.
porn. Like,
It is nice.
it's so much fun to watch because everyone's taking shots after shots at them.
Mm-hmm.
And they sit back and they go and proceed to drop 45 on people's heads every week.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
And it's going to happen again.
It's super electric. It's definitely gonna happen this week. I mean, yeah, like you said, teams are kind of randomly taking low blows for some reason. I mean, anyone's got the right to do it. It's like Utah and USC, like literally the powerhouses of the division. We'll see what happens with UFC in like 2 weeks. That'll be very, very interesting. Um, but I think with Colorado specifically, I mean, I like Dion at Jackson State. I love what he was doing with the HBCU down there. It always kind of hurt me that they never played in the FCS playoffs with us. I wanted to see not them playoffs, of course. At Montana State just being biased and all that, but
Yeah.
play. They always kind of had some cop-out bowl game that they played where they just win by 40. So that left me skeptical. I think that left them open to skepticism when you kind of do that instead of go play with the other top team in the Valley, the Big Sky. Those kind of deals. The best FCS teams there, and you're playing some really low down D1 school that you're beating up on. So I never really loved that. But outside of that, I thought he brings a winning culture, which is something that is so underrated when we're talking about college teams nowadays. When of course you're getting like that's what draws in the transfers now. It's not just the NIL money, but if you can't make the NIL, you're there to win football games. And right now, Deion Sanders is winning plenty of football games. He's doing it with basically the world watching him. And Shadur's just been absolutely lights out. I was trying to bet him at Heisman 44-1, kind of missed out on that opportunity. But he's got 1,000 yards through 2 weeks on the year. His passer rating is up there with Caleb Williams and Michael Penix.
Yeah.
We're talking probably the two best college quarterbacks right now. He's going toe to toe with these guys and just putting up insane stats. And Williams and Penix have not played good teams so far. They've played mediocre teams. Shadur played a ranked team week 1 and a Matt Rule coach team week 2. So, who was literally just an NFL coach 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think the numbers that he's doing is fantastic. I think what Colorado is doing as a program, the bounce back is something that really hasn't happened since like Larry Bird and the Celtics in like 1985 when they went from, or 1980 when they went from the worst team to the #1 seed just because they drafted Larry Bird. This is kind of what that is.
Cleveland with LeBron.
Yeah, exactly.
Drafting LeBron.
LeBron, yep, going to the finals like 2 years later, right? Like this is the kind of momentum that's happening in college football right now, and it's great to see it go their way.
Yeah, exactly. And let's not skip over Travis Hunter.
No, 130 snaps week 1.
A dog, like, is locked down on the defensive end and will go and just moss you on the offense.
Yeah, he's the best corner in America right now, college football wise. And then
top 5 receiver.
And then in the TCU game has 11 for 132. And plays all game long. I think that's the most underrated part about it.
He's playing
the stamina is ridiculous.
Every damn snap.
He's playing the toughest position on the defensive end, and then he's got to flip around and catch passes from Deion's kid on the other end, and he's getting 10 to 13 targets a week. Like the workload isn't small.
Catching all of them.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting 13 targets and
he's a great route runner. Like, he's a great route runner.
He gets open.
It's crazy.
And like, I'm not gonna remember names because those are the 2 big ones. But Colorado's loaded at receiver. The one guy, I think he wears like number 11.
It's like Harrison.
Something.
He had 3 touchdowns against TCU. I know he's talking.
And he went over 100 both games. Like, they're spreading the ball out. It is not it's not the Sanders Hunter show.
Yeah.
It is. We're getting everyone involved. Their running back, so much fun to watch, especially the TCU game. Like,
they're a balanced offense. Yeah,
they're fun to watch. Like, I don't know what to say. I hate it. I hate it. but I love it at the same time. It's the love-hate for me, man. Speaking of love-hate, is Texas back?
Okay. Last few years,
20 years.
I've never been a Texas guy, ever. Like, I mean, I know, of course, Bijan the last couple years, but really since Colt McCoy, the program's kind of been in this, like, valley of sorts. And that they haven't really been able to dig themselves out of their own hole. They had some coaching issues. Bringing in Sarkisian a couple years ago, he had some problems there for a little while. But I think this year, out of all the years, is this program is actually starting to find its footing. They played Bama close last year,
Yep.
a game where Quinn's a redshirt sophomore.
I think first start for Texas.
Yeah, first start. Yeah, like it was like week 2 or something. They're playing the previous Heisman winner in Bryce Young. They make it a 4-point game. Bama still wins, but it's a 4-point game at home with an unranked Texas squad that you're really not expecting to compete with a number 3 Bama squad, right? That year. And then fast forward 1 year later, Sarkisian's offense looks great. It looks
He's adapted so well to
really
what
good.
Ewers does great.
It looks really good. They found Ewers has found his footing, I think, is the big thing here, of course, and he looks really comfortable in the pocket. The game is kind of coming naturally to him, where he qualified up a year early in high school, goes to Ohio State. Of course, can't see any playing time, goes to Texas, red shirts.
Yeah.
And now we're here. So I think, he's already had almost 3 to 4 years of college experience, but this is his really only second year of legitimately playing football, and watching him playing are two totally different things.
Exactly.
So,
look at Joe Burrow.
Yeah, exactly. So now that he's kind of gaining his confidence, you're seeing this offense take huge steps forward. And it's like they lose Bijan. The run game is still really potent. They're really balanced. And this defense is nasty. They are mean. They are aggressive. And you saw them push Bama to the limits in that game. I caught most of the third quarter in that game where Texas kind of really stomped it on. And I really liked what I saw. I really liked Ewers' performance. I really like the weapons they have, Sarkisian's offense, and how aggressively they're running this defense. They're playing press coverage, which is something you don't see a ton in college football. And I loved it, to be honest with you. I've never been a Texas guy. Actually, always kind of been Oklahoma's kind of always been like my second team. But Texas looks really good. And Bama, I honestly don't think they played incredibly lackluster, and Texas goes into 100,000 person stadium.
And wins by double digits.
Wins by double digits and has control of the game through every second of every phase of that game. They were dominating.
Exactly. And if this is the year it's going to happen, this is the year to do it.
Yep.
I don't think the Big 12 is as strong as it has been in the past with the Oklahomas and the TCUs of last year.
They're clear favorite.
They're the clear favorite right now. It is all gas, no brakes. Because again, they're at 4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't lose, they don't move.
Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
Like, if you keep winning, you're not going to move.
Yep.
And who knows? You might see a slip up from a Michigan, a Florida State.
You could see him at 2.
Maybe a Georgia. Who knows?
Yeah, you could see him at 2 by the end of the year.
It's insane. Like, Texas is back.
Mm-hmm.
If they can keep winning, they're back.
Yep.
I
think it's kind of awesome, to be honest with you.
Because those were the best times of college football were when Texas was good and when USC was good.
Yep. And we're kind of reverting back to the Texas USC.
Because USC isn't going anywhere either.
No, they've been really good ever since Riley's been there.
Exactly. So those are the 2 big teams we want to talk about. I hinted at Florida State. They're surprisingly at 3.
Also, hinting at Clemson losing to Duke week 1 by a significant margin. I thought was somewhat surprising, especially with Cade Klubnik's second year. He got to sit behind DJ for a while, and for him to play the way he played week 1, bounced back week 2 against a much weaker opponent, but has 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. But I think you're kind of seeing the programs that don't want to pay the NIL
or go into the portal.
You can slowly see them start to suffer. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and Clemson opens up ACC play next week with Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be an interesting match.
Yes. Definitely.
Because if Florida State's for real, they're going to blow the brakes off.
hmm
If,
Which Florida State looked for real against LSU.
yeah, they looked legit.
Yeah, they looked
Like,
legit.
maybe the hype for LSU's a little too much, but like, regardless,
hmm
throttled LSU
Yeah.
for the second year in a row.
Yep.
After all the talk from Brian and Kelly.
Yeah,
You want to talk Heisman?
let's talk Heisman. So I think it's really the Pac-12 quarterbacks at this point. I mean, of
Like
course,
Drake May sprinkled in.
yeah, you got a little bit of Drake May. I think those odds are very slim. You got the Jordan Travis in there. And I believe there's one more I'm forgetting, but it's really Shadur, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr. Those are the three guys. Penix was my actual favorite at the start of the year. I really like the way Washington runs their offense. They just allow him to sling and make decisions on the fly.
His deep accuracy
is ridiculous. His arm strength is ridiculous, and he's clutch. So when you look at the games Washington played last year, Washington kind of hit a weird slump. They bring Penix in. He was a fifth-year senior last year. He's in his last year of eligibility this year. He's clearly going into the draft after having the year he did last year, going for over 5,000 yards.
and he'll probably do it again this year.
And he's already on track. He's already almost got 1,000 this year. He's already got 9 touchdowns on the year. And right now, like you said about Texas, Penix is all gas, no brakes. He's looking to get into the league, but he's looking to push into the favorite for the Heisman. He was my pick beforehand, and I really just like the way they run their offense. They're always in high-scoring games, which always allows him the ability to put up just ridiculous numbers.
And that just lets him throw it.
Which favors him.
Yeah.
And if they're close, high-scoring games where he can be clutching and he shines in those moments like he has, like last year's game against Oregon, which was probably one of the top 5 college football games I've watched.
Yep.
At least last year, probably not in the last 10 years. And that game was so absurd. He's making every throw on the field imaginable. He's hitting 25-yard post routes in stride.
He's reading the defense so well.
So quickly.
It's like poetry in motion.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch. So I'm still Penix. I'm still Team Michael Penix in this one. But, I mean, Caleb's probably still the clear favorite for most people. His passer rating is unbelievable.
Yeah, and again, I think you're going to start seeing the separation when they all start playing each other.
Yeah.
I think the quarterback matchups in the Pac-12 this year are going to be hands down the best in college football.
Yeah.
And that's without a Cam Rising for Utah yet.
Yeah.
That'll start right back up. If we had DTR for one more year, this might be the greatest quarterback conference of all time.
Still got Bo Nix.
Yeah, and you still have Bo Nix.
He's not terrible.
I mean, he's a goofball, but he's Nix. He's like Bodacious or whatever that Nike ad was. Or
Bo knows.
Yeah, Bo knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Bo
It's
knows football.
Oregon. It's Oregon.
Yeah.
They're always good. They have the best uniforms in college football. Specifically last week. Those silvers.
Oh, the chrome helmets. Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, they were nasty.
That Nike money, man. But no, again.
Ukulele for Oregon State.
Yep. Ukulele. You got. Can't remember. Is it Ward out in Washington State? I can never remember his name.
I can't either.
But that's an air raid style of offense.
Yes.
So they're going to put up points. I mean, you saw it against Wisconsin.
UCLA, Chip Kelly, they're of course putting up points. They got the 5-star playing for them right now.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it could be anyone's. Because then, again, Colorado throws the wrench. Because I think it was clearly Williams, Penix, and like Drake May coming into the
Travis, yeah.
or Travis, mix match them. And then Colorado comes in with Shador and Travis. Because if Travis ends the year with, let's say, 1,200 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns.
That's the best corner.
And 5 picks.
Yeah.
How do you not?
Yeah.
How does he not get it? He might be the first, the lovely two-way in the NFL.
Yeah, and you're correct. He right now is college football's Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
That's what he is. He's playing I mean, if we keep it up over 12 weeks, he's playing 140 snaps. And we're talking ridiculous. We're talking 1,500 snaps on the season.
Some guys don't see that in 3 years.
And that's being the best guy on the field defensively and the top threat on the field offensively. So I think Travis is a legit contender. I think we're getting shades of Charles Woodson in Michigan when he won it in the mid-thousands there, early thousands. So I think it was 2002.
I think it was 01.
01? Somewhere in there. So you're kind of getting shades of that, and Woodson didn't play offense. So
Yeah, he was a punt returner.
yeah, he was a legit. I mean, he was electric, but he wasn't getting 11 catches for 132 yards. So I think Travis Hunter's legit. I think Caleb Williams is of course legit. Penix is of course legit, and Shador. I think those are your top four right now.
Yeah, and I think it's again, you can switch out whatever quarterbacks like yours, but if he keeps this up.
Yes, Quinn Ewers. Yes, that
He's
was the one I was
great.
forgetting.
So this might be the one year Heisman's just so up in the air. Like,
And you still got the guys up in Michigan too. You still got McCarthy. You still got Blake Corum.
yeah, like Corum.
Um,
Corum's a dog.
Corum was in the hunt 2 years ago when we first started doing it. He had injuries last year that kind of.
But he had all the hype last year.
He had all the hype last year too, and it seems like it's kind of died off for some reason. He was insane his sophomore year, so you could see him kind of leap in there. We haven't even mentioned the name Marvin Harrison Jr. yet.
Because Ohio State's, I don't know. Right?
And they're still a top 5 team. They're still running Ryan Day's offense, and he's still in the big games. Harrison's gonna play all 4 quarters, which I think honestly the thing is limiting him. He played the first half of week 1, played like 3 quarters in week 2. Ohio State likes to rest their players a lot. You saw them do that with Haskins when they played. A lot with Olave, Garrett Wilson, those kind of guys. They would really only play a half to 3 quarters.
Yeah.
That limits the stats, but it keeps your players healthy and fresh. So they're a little more team oriented.
Exactly. And coaches aren't out here to win Heisman.
No.
They're here to win conferences and national championships.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you see Harrison Jr., don't be surprised if there's a couple 250-yard games here in the near future.
Oh, probably, because I'm sure that's going to start ramping up.
And he had 140 in the first quarter last week.
Yeah, and it'll start ramping up next week when they play Notre Dame.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a big game. Like it's.
And Notre Dame has a good quarterback this year.
Throwing quarterback.
Yeah, Sam Hartman.
Wow.
Yeah. So that could actually be
With a bone necklace. That's some voodoo magic.
Yeah.
Up in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
I love this time of the year.
Me too. Football's so back. We're so back. It feels so good.
Back. Oh.
It feels so good. So
other than exams, that's the only part that you forget.
I know.
College football's back. Hey, you got 3 exams this week.
But I think that's gonna do it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want anything else for our podcast, follow the Instagram at HRDL Podcast. We post every time we drop a new episode. Hit the notification bell also on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like.
It'll let you know the second we post it.
Yeah.
It's not delayed. Like
It's not delayed.
Not
No.
some big YouTubers where it's kind of delayed.
Yeah, like multiple hours. No, we're on top of it over here.
Yes, sir.
So subscribe, hit the like button there. It's always appreciated. If you don't like it, you don't have to. And you can just move on with your life. So
Yep, still counts as a view.
yep, still counts as a view. So if you just want the audio version, head over to Spotify. There's also video over there as well that gets posted, since you can post MP4 files there now. So also go hit the notification bell on Spotify if that is a must for you instead of YouTube.
5-star rating.
5-star rating.
Just like
Yeah. So college football, Cats football, Logan, Bailey. We're out, guys. Peace.
give us your Heisman in the comments.
There you go.